I'm going to ask you this question, which actually is for the second part, but I'll ask you the first part first. You and Mani Ratnam were supposed to work together on this film called Lajo.
Lajo, yeah.
Lajo?
Lajo,
Okay.
yeah.
And it was based on an Ismet Chugtai
Short story. Yes.
So that didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
Do you care to go back to that
Well,
time?
I have always been a huge fan of Mani, and I've always wanted to work with him for the longest time.
Right.
And I've met him also many times. I've been to his house. We've both had wonderful conversations. And I think both of us have, wanted to work with each other. Then we did almost work together in Lajo. But that didn't work out for third reasons. Nothing to do with Mani and me. So I'm a very big admirer of his work. And I still hope that one day he and I will work together.
Right.
Yeah.
So the reason I ask this question is because so many of your successes or the films that we consider legendary are with non-big filmmakers. For example, when I think of a Dangal, it's not that Nitish Tiwari is not talented, but at that point, he'd made Chiller Party and he'd made Bhootnath Returns. And neither of those films were either big blockbusters or neither were they hugely critically acclaimed or something. Yet something made you say, you are the right person to make
This
Dangal.
film, yeah.
And if you look back at your filmography, it's fairly constant. Farhan is the first, Ashutosh with Lagan. There's so many, there are so many.
Mehra with Rang De Bas.
Right, and the natural tendency of a star when they get to a certain stardom level
is to work with successful people.
Safe people who will be able to deliver the safe, and you see this all over India. So what makes Aamir Khan say this director, even though they may not have a huge body of work, or they may not have handled a big star or something, this is the right person for the story?
This is a very interesting question, and this has come to me many times over the years in different forms. At one time, a lot of people used to assume that I'm ghost directing.
Yeah, and I've heard that a lot.
So they would assume that because a lot of these directors, when they didn't work with me, either had a film that was not successful before or after.
Right.
And it happened so many times that it became like it's it can't be a coincidence so many times. And it was rather infuriating for me to try and explain to people that I'm not directing these films. These directors are the ones directing.
Yeah.
And so this question used to come to me a lot, And then I realized actually, and even I used to wonder that what is it that when I have the option of working with people who are successful, why am I still getting, pulled towards these people and these films that they want to make? I'm pulled towards Ashu's Lagan. I was pulled towards Dangal, or Dil Chahta Hai. And then I thought about it and I was wondering what is it that makes me do that? And then I think I realized what it was, and I'll share it with you. You see, one of the qualities I'm looking for in a director, other than the fact that I feel a director should have the basic capability of making a film. So that I'm assuming is in place. And that the director and I have a similar sensibility and a rapport, trust and faith. But there is one more thing that I'm looking for, which earlier I didn't know I was actually looking for it. Because I sat and thought about it, I realized what it was. It's an intangible thing. What I'm looking for is, do you have a story to tell?
Okay.
I'll explain what I mean by that. Is there a story inside your stomach which is bubbling to come out?
Okay.
Do you have a story to tell which you need to tell? So I'll give you an example. Imagine there's a party going on in your house, and there are some guests and 15, 20 people are there. There's music playing, food and drinks. And you tell me that, Aamir, I'm in your house as a guest. You say, why don't you tell us some of your interesting incidents of your life? So I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah. What would you like to hear about? Which film? And I'll remember something and I will tell you that incident. There'll be 4 or 5 people listening to it. Now, imagine the same party going on, a slightly different scenario. I'm not at the party. The doorbell rings and you open the door and I arrive. And as I arrive, I'll say, Bharat, you won't believe what just happened to me. And I'll walk into the house and I'll say, listen guys, listen to me, put the music off. I have a story to tell, Bharat. So because I have a story to tell, the intensity with which I will tell it, the energy with which I will tell it will be very different.
Right.
As opposed to when you told me tell a story.
Right.
So I'm telling a story.
Wow.
But I have a story to tell, which I am dying to tell. That has a different communication quality.
Right.
So I realized in retrospect, when people used to ask me, why did you do Lagan? Ashutosh had given 2 films which had not worked. I was like, yeah, I love the script. Yes, yes, yes. But still, why? Because I knew he had a story to tell. It was something intangible. I could sense
Like
that Ashutosh had a story to tell. I could sense that John had a story to tell. I could sense that Farhan had a story to tell. Mehra had a story to tell. Nitish had a story to tell. These are all very, very talented people. And all of us can go wrong once in a while in filmmaking. It's a difficult art form. But when you have a story to tell, then you make sure that it gets communicated.
Yeah.
Because that intensity is there in you.
Like a hunger.
So, like a hunger. So, what I realized is I'm also putting my finger on directors and creative people who are hungry at that point of time. For whatever reason. At that point of time, there's an invisible energy that I'm reacting to.
Right.
Which is also giving me the desire to, work with this person.
So when you meet R.S. Prasanna, who's the director of Sitare Zameen Par, do you sense this energy the first time you meet, or is it over a period of time?
The first thing I was impressed by with Prasanna was that he had done such little work. He had made a film called Shubh Mangal Savdhan, but the Tamil version of it, that was his first film.
Yeah.
I don't remember the title.
Kalyana Samayal Satham. Yeah.
Then he made the Hindi version of it. So in a sense, he had made one film.
Right.
So I said, how many films have you done after that? He said, I've done no other film. I've just done this film. So in an industry or in a society where for everyone, the success, the moment you get success, you want to quickly, cash in on it and do work. And, in this kind of a environment, very few people are the people who stop and say, no, I'm going to do something which excites me. I'm going to wait. Yes, I'm successful right now. I've got 10 offers. I can do any of these, but no, I'm not ready yet. So that really impressed me about Prasanna. The fact that he had the strength and the maturity to wait to decide what he wants to make next. That requires strength,
But Aamir, that is a
just one of the
personal
things.
quality.
Yeah.
How do you know that will translate to a filmmaking quality?
It's one of the things that tells me that he's someone who's not the average Joe.
Oh, right. Right.
Speaking with him, going through the narration, understanding his perspective of how he's seeing the film. So it's all of this put together. It's all of this put together that made me, excited to want to work with him.
Right. In a